Hello and welcome back in this episode of we're making a boring engine into a tuner dream engine. As you can see, everyone likes this series, and I'm more than happy to make any kind of engine that you want, as long as the game can support this kind of an engine. Alright, so in this episode we have the legendary Mercedes-Benz M113, or you can say M113 5-liter V8 engine. It's an amazing engine. It's very smooth, very torquey, and very powerful. You can find it like in the S-Class and other Mercedes models. It's a cool V8. It's smooth. I've driven actually a Mercedes like an S-Class, S500 with this V8. It's very smooth. It's very torquey and very powerful. Right, so let's start with the stock version first, and then switch on and tweak the engine as powerful as we can, and keep it as reliable as we can. Alright, so let's start. It's a V-shaped 90 degrees engine, 8-cylinder as you can see, with aluminium block, 97mm on the bore and 84mm on the stroke, which equals 4966 cc engine, or you can say a 5-liter V8. It has a single overhead camshaft with 3 valves per cylinder, aluminium head material, no VVL, forged steel crankshaft, heavy-duty forged connecting rods, and forged pistons. It has totally forged internals, which is good. So, I think some of the versions came with cast crankshaft, but this one I've seen on Wikipedia comes with a forged steel crankshaft and forged connecting rods and forged pistons. Zero quality on those. We have 10.0 to 1 is the compression ratio. I'm not really sure about the compression ratio. I genuinely, I'm not sure. I searched a lot of websites, and actually I think no one knows, or maybe Mercedes-Benz hid the fact about the compression ratio. So I've kept it 10, which is like similar to the stock one, I think, because the Mercedes-Benz engines are efficient, and I think 10.0 to 1 is really good number, and it's close to the real deal. So I'm gonna write here, instead of stock, close stock replica. Alright, we have 10.0 to 1 is the compression ratio, 4 to 3 on the camshaft. Variable valve timing. Yes, this engine uses variable valve timing with +5 quality, because you know all of us know how Mercedes-Benz quality is. It's naturally aspirated, of course. It has a multi-point fuel injection, or as Mercedes-Benz called it, sequential fuel injection, which is multi-point fuel injection. It has twin throttle bodies, standard intake manifold. It runs on premium fuel, premium 95 octane. The air-fuel ratio is 14.2, which is lean, which is efficient. The ignition timing is very high, it's 95. The RPM limit is 6000 with +5 quality on the fuel system. We have tubular headers, or as they call it, like stainless steel headers and stainless steel exhaust system, which is really cool. Comes from the factory like this, with a 2.5-inch exhaust diameter, or you can say 63.5 millimeters. We have 3-way catalytic converters with quad reversal mufflers, so I can keep this engine like as quiet as the stock engine. +5 quality on the exhaust system, and we have 302 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque. It's an amazing engine. It's very torquey, very powerful. It's very smooth, it's quiet, it's responsive, it's reliable. Service cost is normal. It's fuel economical. It's a little bit lightweight. It's a perfect engine, but yes, the engineering time takes a while, because as we all know, Mercedes-Benz spends millions and millions and millions of euros, pounds, dollars, whatever you want, whatever currency you will choose. They spend that much on research and development and engineering. So yes, 112 is nothing compared to the real Mercedes-Benz engines in real life. Alright, so as you can see, this is the stock engine. Let me show you. It looks very good. It's, as you can see, it has forged internals, and we have 3 valves per cylinder, single overhead camshaft, good exhaust system. It's basically very good. But I've seen like videos on the internet, like a lot of Mercedes-Benz enthusiasts get this engine and you know, tweak it and make it much more powerful, and you can see those Mercedes-Benz cars on the autobahn, you know, flying, you know, 300 kilometers per hour or 280 kilometers per hour at this kind of speed after tweaking the engine, because these engines come strong from the factory, but with little mods you can just make them extremely more powerful. Alright, so let's fire it up and let's hear it how it sounds on stock. Everything sounds very quiet, very smooth. Now let's rev it up. As you heard, the engine sounds very elegant and very smooth, and it sounds really good even at high RPM. I mean, of course, in real life it doesn't look like this. The intake manifold is different, the airbox and the air intake system is a lot different. It has 2 air filters, and it looks not like this at all. But the power figures and everything is really close to the factory specs. But again, the compression ratio is not really correct. If you know the correct power compression ratio, I would love to see it in the comment section below. Please write it in the comment section so I can know what kind of compressions these engines are using. Because I searched and I've searched, I did not find any information about that, but it's okay. This is close enough, I'm gonna call it. Alright, so as you can see, imagine that you bought this Mercedes, the S500, maybe not brand new, maybe second hand. You've chosen one with a really low mileage and really clean engine, and you are enjoying the power and the torque after servicing it, of course. Now let's imagine you got this engine. What you should do to it? Let's see. What is the next step of making this beast to breathe more and to produce more power? Alright, so the cheapest way to go, of course, is put a different exhaust system. Put a different exhaust system on the car. Let's see, if we need to choose, like, let's say straight through, second muffler, or remove the mufflers completely. But no, I'm not gonna make it like a racing engine, so let's start by putting a high flow 3-way catalytic converters. You can find these like aftermarket. As you can see, check out the difference from 302 horsepower to 314 horsepower. That's by changing the catalytic converter. I know that this is an expensive thing to do. Catalytic converters are very expensive, especially the Mercedes-Benz or these German ones, because they are made with really high quality. And yes, you need to pay a little extra, but you will gain much more results, as you can see. So now it has extra horsepower just by replacing the catalytic converters on the exhaust system. That's it. Pretty simple. It's like extra 12 horsepower. Alright, so now let's alright, so as you can see, the power is good. The torque is more, you have more torque, more power, which is good, but just by changing a little thing. It's an expensive thing, but it's a good thing to change. Now you've been saving a lot of money and you want to tweak it even more. You can change these mufflers into a straight through mufflers, but don't change them into regular straight through mufflers. My advice to you is to buy the mufflers with bypass valves in them. You can like put a button in your vehicle inside, so you can push the button and open those valves, or you can set them to a certain amount of RPM or certain amount of throttle percentage. It's up to you, but I promise you will get much better results using straight through mufflers with bypass valves in them. It's a good upgrade. So let's see, let's choose straight through mufflers. As you can see, check out the difference. Look, check out how it used to be 314, now the 333 horsepower. Putting bypass valves, yes, because let's see what's wrong here. Yes, the exhaust has got a little bit too big. Alright, so no, let's see. Actually, this engine actually here prefer without bypass valves, because with bypass valves, if you want to keep the same exhaust size 2.5 inch, no, actually you need to switch to regular straight through mufflers. That's better. But if you want to make it, your exhaust smaller, maybe don't play with that yet. You don't have that much money. So let's stick to these straight through mufflers. because they are cheap. They are not much expensive, and as you can see, the results are much better. Let's take these later, not now. Alright, so you replace the mufflers with high performance ones straight through, and let's see how much difference we have here. Where's the loudness? Here we go. Let's see how it used to be. How is it now? No, like this. It used to be, where is it? It used to be 29 and now it's 43. It's a little bit loud, yes, but look at the results. Alright, let's fire it up. Alright, sounds good. So we have gained so far 30 extra horsepower just by replacing 2 catalytic converters and new mufflers on the engine, on the exhaust system. We kept the same exhaust pipe, the same headers, the same basically everything. Alright, so you've been saving also some amount of money, and you can find these a lot in Germany, like better intake manifolds for your Mercedes-Benz, like made from carbon fiber or high flow ones. You can find a lot of kits for these German cars. I mean, these cars in Germany are just amazing. I mean, I wish I was living in Germany, because I mean, these cars are homemade. Like, they're German. It's an amazing thing, and you can find a lot of spare parts, a lot of aftermarket parts over there. Everyone loves to tune them, to tweak them. It's an amazing thing, actually. Alright, so let's say you went online and you bought a performance intake manifold for your engine. The same configuration, twin throttle bodies, not single. Let's see, you will gain like extra 2 horsepower, extra amount of torque, and of course you will gain extra fuel efficiency, because also you have to change like the injectors to high flow ones, and change the spark plugs into higher quality ones, and of course you will change the, as you can see, the intake will be much bigger, longer runners, bigger throttle bodies. As you can see, the airbox itself is high performance with a high performance air filter in it. I mean, all of this will add more power and more torque, and it will make the engine sound extremely loud. I mean, look at it, 47. Alright, let's fire it up and listen to this. Sounds amazing, really sounds amazing. I mean, I know that this will cost a little bit more money, especially if you want to buy like a really good aftermarket intake manifold with throttle bodies and injectors and new spark plugs wires or coils. This engine uses wires, but yes, because a stupid distributor in the rear, this one should be working on coils, but it's okay, we have to work with what we have. Alright, so the engine is working more than perfect, the power is amazing, the torque is really mind-blowing, and it's really good. What do you think the next step is? Alright, let's see. The next step, I think, I mean, usually I would go and tell you to go to the dyno and tweak the ECU, but as you can see, the ignition timing is already near maxed out, so the only way to gain more horsepower is, of course, to add more fuel in. And adding more fuel in, yes, it will result in better horsepower and torque, but it will also result in higher fuel consumption. So let's see, you can go like to the dyno and put more ignition into the engine, as you can see, like for example up to like this, up to 97, you'll gain like extra 1 horsepower, extra pound-feet of torque. You can like push the fuel a little bit more, like up to 14.0, you'll gain like extra 3 horsepower, which is good. It's not bad at all, but yes, of course your mileage will drop a little bit, It's fine. Now the next step, of course, is to change the camshaft, because this engine comes with a regular smooth camshaft in it, camshaft here and here. And yes, you can put a high performance or a more bigger and aggressive camshaft with bigger valves maybe, or let's say high quality valves with really stiff valve springs. And yes, you will gain extremely good results with a new timing chain, timing gear in the front. All of this will result in a better performance. So let's see how aggressive we can go. It comes with 43 from the factory, like as you can see, normal here. Let's see when we switch and go into the sport section how much horsepower we can gain. Oh, but sorry, before moving to camshaft, as you can see, because we went to the dyno before, this engine can take much more RPM. The factory setting is only to 6,000, so maybe the tuner will raise it like to 6,000, 7,000 RPM. As you can see, there is not much benefit, but that will result in a better camshaft later, like right now. If let's go more aggressive. As you can see, 48, 49, 50. I always like to go higher until I start to lose torque. When I start to lose torque, I will stop. Like right now it's 350, 351, 352, and yes, 355, 6. No, all right, here. This is the sweet spot. 64 on as you can see in the middle of the sports section. Actually, this is middle, but you know what I mean. Before it, yes, as you can see, 411 horsepower and 356 pound-feet of torque, just by replacing the camshaft with bigger and more aggressive ones with a stiffer valve springs and better and more high quality valves and a new timing chain and timing gear. And all of this will result in a great performance. As you can see, we have raised the RPM before to 7,000. Let's see how far we can go. Alright, to 7,200. That's as high as we can go for now. I know that the fuel economy has dropped, but come on, look at the power. We started only with 302 horsepower. Now we have 412 horsepower at 7,200 RPM. Yes, now let's fire this beast and see how it will sound with the aggressive camshafts. So the engine is working more perfect than ever. It sounds amazing, and it looks amazing, and it definitely performed amazing. Alright, now the next step is, of course, to change your entire exhaust system. For example, you have to go to a special qualified mechanic or welder or fabricator, so we can fabricate for you a long tubular headers, unless of course there is an aftermarket kit that you can purchase, which will be amazing. Alright, so let's see the difference right now from tubular to long tubular. Ready, steady, and extra 8 horsepower, and let's see, extra 8 horsepower and extra like 6-7 pound-feet of torque. More fuel mileage, as you can see, more fuel efficiency. The engine will get louder. It's good. Let's see, should we go bigger? Alright, so as you can see, you can go bigger, like 2.8 or 3-inch exhaust diameter. Alright, so which one should we choose? Should we go bigger or should we go cheap? Now, if I want to go cheap, I would just put bypass valves, straight through mufflers, change only the mufflers, keep the 2.5-inch exhaust system, and it will be more than perfect, as you can see. Alright, so we have like extra 430 horsepower, and remember, we started in live with 302 horsepower only. Alright then, as you can see, we have more horsepower right now, 430 instead of 302, which is really good. As you can see, we have the horsepower is good, everything is so far so good. We did not change the exhaust diameter, we only changed the mufflers into a straight through mufflers with bypass valves, with of course a long tubular headers, and this is how they look. As you can see, they look very cool and very high performance. Alright, so let's fire it up and see how and hear how it sounds. Sounds amazing, really good. I mean, it's powerful, it's torquey, it's loud, it's an amazing engine. Alright, so what's the next step that we can take? Let's see, RPM, good, everything is good so far. And so it's up to you here. Like, if you want to open the engine, open up the engine and change the pistons to a higher compression pistons or not, it's up to you. Like, if you want to put more compression into the engine, of course you can make more power and more torque, or you can just, let's see if we raise the, alright, so no, it will not gain any extra horsepower, like 98, it's better. How about the exhaust diameter? No, it's good on 2.5 inch with this setup here. So it's up to you. Like, if you want to put a more aggressive camshaft into the engine, so you can make it if you want to keep it naturally aspirated, of course. I'm talking about naturally aspirated, I'm not talking about a turbocharged engine. Or if you don't want to change anything, that's it for you. You can always turbocharge this beast here. Let's see, before turbocharging, let's drop the ignition timing so we don't blow up the engine. Turbocharger, as you can see, and let's hit ball bearing. Let's see, we are aiming like for maybe 700 horsepower. Let's drop the turbine size, increase the ratio to the max, and start from here. Let's see, the compressor is too big. 51. Let's see the curve. Alright, 3200, that's good. Alright, so we have like this, some kind of big intercooler. As you can see, drop the turbine. The reason is why I'm dropping the turbine size to a more efficient one, because I care about power efficiency. I hate laggy engines. Like, for example, I always try to put more AR ratio so I can get better power and torque, and drop the turbine size as efficient as possible without sacrificing too much horsepower and torque. Like, for example, the turbo, as you can see, the torque and the power will start from 3000 RPM, which is acceptable. This is a good performance engine. This is not bad at all. Yes, but more than this, no, it will not be good. And let's see how many psi of boost we can push. Let's say 12 psi is good. Let's see if the RPM, no, this will not make any difference. But yes, you have to push a little bit more fuel in, like 13.5, and start pushing the of course the ignition timing. But to be good, let's drop this one to 10 psi, which is more efficient, and increase the ignition time, because more ignition is more efficient. You will get more fuel economy. Let's see, what should we choose here? No, that's good. Alright, so everything basically is so good. Now let's check the exhaust size, if 2.5 inches is good or not. No, 2.8. Yes, 2.8. You have to increase the exhaust size by like, as you can see, from 2.5 to 2.8. That will result in good power. And because so far everything we are buying and upgrading the engine with is German, so I'm gonna put the turbocharger into a +5 quality, because it's made in Germany, which is the best place on earth to make cars, buy parts, and basically do anything with cars. Alright, so let's see, 537 horsepower, which is really good. Let's see, what should we do now? More ignition. Alright, so we are maxing the room of the octane here. Let's go with a little bit more fuel. I want to make the engine as efficient as possible. No, the peak horsepower will drop. I don't like that. Alright, so 540 horsepower. Let's increase the boost a little bit, like to 10.4. No, It's like this, 50, that's good, 50 millimeters, and no, like this, 43 millimeters. So 50 millimeters on the compressor and 43 millimeters on the turbine. We have nearly 550 horsepower. I want 550 horsepower. I really want 550. How can I get it? Like this, but the we call the RPM, the power peak will drop a little bit from 7,100 to 7,000 RPM. Alright, so what should we do here? Let's drop the boost a little bit, drop the fuel mixture a little bit, and we have 550 horsepower. But I also want 500 pound-feet of torque, so we need more boost. Alright, sorry fuel, we need to kill you. We need to add more fuel in. Not that much. Drop it a little bit like this, and push it to 500 pound-feet of torque. Alright, so now that's good. Actually, that's better. Alright, so we have 555 horsepower, 502 pound-feet of torque. Now the engine is running more than perfect. I know that the fuel economy will drop, significantly, but it will be much more. I would sacrifice this kind of fuel economy for that power. Remember, we started in live with only 302 horsepower, and now we have 555 horsepower, and we used to have 339 pound-feet of torque. Now we have 502 pound-feet of torque. Now this is a good engine. Of course, if the gearbox can handle this kind of power and torque. Let's see, is the exhaust perfect, or should we go to 3-inch? No, 2.8 inch is more than perfect. Alright, so let's fire up this beast. This is how it looks with turbos, as you can see. Pretty much the same, just by adding 2 turbos and these cast headers, as you can see, short cast headers with, of course, the piping and the big intercooler in the front. Still sounds the same, but at idle only. The engine makes 232 pound-feet of torque at idle, or you can say 40 horsepower. That's good. Sounds very good. Now, one last thing, if you want to keep your engine like naturally aspirated, you need to find, like, if you want to make it extremely perfect naturally aspirated engine, you need to open the engine and put higher compression pistons in it, of course, more higher quality pistons, higher quality and high performance piston rings, and you need to find, like, or you need to purchase, if there is like a kit, an aftermarket kit, or you can say throttle per cylinder or individual throttle bodies, so you can make the engine to breathe much better. You can custom make a racing exhaust manifolds or exhaust headers. You can remove the mufflers if you want to make your engine like a racing engine or something. And let's see how much difference these individual throttle bodies will make with turbocharging. Let's see if the power or the torque will change or not. Oh, that's, I mean, yes, we have lost a little bit of torque. Actually, we have lost a lot of torque. 500 and sorry, no, not a lot of torque. Actually, we have lost like 5 pound-feet of torque, but we gained like extra 17 horsepower. So yes, these are not torquey things, not torquey. The individual throttle bodies are not really torquey friendly. So you can add more fuel in, you can add extra boost in. Alright, like this, like 11 psi, and now you have 572 horsepower and 505 pound-feet of torque. Now that is a good engine, and this is how it looks. If you can find, of course, an individual throttle body kit for this engine. I don't think that there is available, because these kits are very rare and very custom to make. But if there is a kit like this, it will be amazing. Alright, so let's see how it will sound, because as you can see, the throttle response has increased and the engine suddenly got quieter. I don't know why, it suddenly got quieter. But it's okay, it will be like a sleeper engine, quiet and very powerful. As you can see, these are the throttles, individual throttle bodies. The engine is more perfect than ever. Of course, if you want to keep running it on 95 octane fuel, this is all running on premium 95 octane fuel. But some places in Europe, I'm not really sure if I don't know, because I've never been to Europe, but I've seen like some places with some petrol station that's selling 98 octane fuel, which is the super. I've seen some videos and some documentaries about some countries in Europe that they are selling like 98, which is really good fuel. This is a very high octane fuel, and it will serve high boosted cars and high powerful car really well. It's a little bit expensive, more expensive than 95, but it's worth it if you want to tweak your engine and running it, you know, very powerful. Let's see how much we can go with the ignition. Alright. I want 600 horsepower. I really want that. Let's see. Let's go to 12.8 here and start adding more boost in. Alright, so if we go to 12 psi with more ignition timing, with a little bit more fuel in, you will get 602 horsepower and 547 pound-feet of torque by using 98 octane fuel. So it's up to you on what kind of fuel you want to run your engine on, so you can make it as powerful as much as you want. Of course, if the engine can support it. But these engines are very bulletproof. They live forever if you take care of them. As you can see, there is no point of raising the RPM. Maybe raise it a little bit, won't hurt. Alright, so one more last push. Because this engine started in life in 302 horsepower, I want to double the figure. I want to make it like 604 horsepower. I mean, no, I cannot double the torque. The torque was 339, so if I want to double it, it has to be like 600 and let's see, 680 or 678. But no, I don't want to go. I don't want to push that much boost in, because I need to push more fuel in, and the engine will get really ugly and really uncomfortable and much more fuel hungry, fuel thirsty. So where should we go? Just by making the exhaust size a little bit bigger, like 3-inch exhaust diameter, you will have 606 horsepower. So yes, we officially doubled the horsepower on this engine. We started in life with only 302 horsepower. Now it's only 606 horsepower. Very powerful, very torquey, and let's listen to it one last time with a 3-inch exhaust system. absolutely amazing, and it looks amazing as well. And that is a pure horsepower. I love this kind of horsepower in a stock looking Mercedes-Benz S500. I mean, people look at you, think that this is like your father's car, or this is like your grandfather's car, and no one will expect this kind of horsepower. Of course, people are a lot of people are going on the autobahn, like running 600, 700, even 1,000 horsepower and more. But I love sleeper cars, like keeping the car very, very stock, very, very looking neat, and you know, take care of the paint and have it detailed and everything, and but having this kind of horsepower under the hood, wow, it will make a decent sleeper. Alright, so this has been the M113 5-liter V8 engine made by Mercedes-Benz. We made it stock and we made it fully on maxed. I'm not saying that it's extremely maxed, but I'm gonna say like HV, which is high performance. High performance dash 98, which is 98 octane fuel, and dash turbo. Alright, so we have this amazing engine now, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Please, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, get subscribed if you are new to my channel, and of course, if you want to share the video, I will be more than happy. If you want to share the video, share it anywhere you want, and request the next engine. I want from you guys to write in the comment section below what is the next engine, the next boring engine that you want me to tweak it, what you want me to push it, you know, and make it a tuner dream engine. I mean, because this engine is not boring, this engine is a good engine from the factory, but we have doubled the horsepower of it, which is amazing. So I want you to go to the comment section below and write a very, very boring engine, and please check if the game supports it or not. For example, the game doesn't have diesel yet. There's no diesel fuel here yet. There is no twin turbos for inline engines yet, and there are no superchargers yet. So you have to check with all of these, and you know, write to me in the comment section below. Fuel injected, carbureted, whatever you want, any kind of boring engines, I'll be more than happy to tweak it with the boring to a tuner dream engine series. Alright, so thank you so much for watching. Again, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, get subscribed, share the video, and keep watching all my previous videos. And thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna see you very, very soon with more cool videos like this one and even more. And goodbye for now, my friends.